I know it's been a long time, but it's your girl, Valita Stoke, with We Are the Change. And we have our lovely guest here.
Dr. Letty Mojica from the University Transfer Center here at Oxnard College.
Woo! Now, I know I always say I'm excited for guests, but this is extremely exciting and informative because I'm also transferring. Hello, real life problems. And I'm struggling, to be quite honest. So I'm going to use her expertise thoroughly right now to know all the information. And I hope all of you get something out of this as well. But so I wanted to start with the process, even though I've kind of gone through it, of kind of just understanding what colleges to look into and how you kind of guide them into that process of location, what's good for them, what's your personal process?
Well, thank you for asking that. So, one of the most important things that we truly, truly encourage all students to do and take advantage of is our Transfer 101 workshop. That workshop is the foundation of the transfer process. So, my goal has always been to instill an early transfer awareness here at Oxnard College. I've actually been overseeing the University Transfer Center for the past 7 years, and that was initially my goal is like, what are we offering? What are we not offering? How can we better serve the needs of our students? How can we really make sure that our students understand the transfer process? Because it can be a little overwhelming and a little complex. It is unique to each student. So what we do is, again, we really encourage for all students to go through that Transfer 101 workshop. And then that's actually the ticket for them to then schedule a one-on-one appointment with myself as a transfer counselor in the UTC, and our other counselor, Melody Smith, who's also a counselor in the UTC. What we do with our students is basically, we want to know, what is your goal? We already know you want to transfer, but where do you want to transfer? Do you have an idea of where you want to transfer? Do you have a major that you are, looking into? And then depending on what they answer, then that's how we, guide them on the schools that offer that major, the schools that are known for that major, and then the other is, creating an educational plan that's going to get them transfer ready.
Very nice. Now, do we personally as a school have any connections with schools in the area that have a easier kind of pipeline into?
I'm so glad that you're asking that. And to answer your question, yes, we do. Absolutely. So our two neighbor schools or feeder schools are Cal State Channel Islands and Cal State Northridge. And so we actually partner up with these two schools in addition to other schools. But right now, because you asked about that, it's these two schools who we partner up and have. They actually will admit our students first before they admit any other student from outside of the VCCD district.
That's amazing because sometimes when you don't know where to go or you don't really have a process, it's nice to know that you have at least two options right from the get.
Absolutely. The other thing is that our students have access to so many resources and services that we provide within the UTC, University Transfer Center. For example, today we actually have the Channel Islands representative on campus in our area, in an office in our area, to meet with our students one-on-one. And we highly encourage for students to meet with the representatives, to take advantage of meeting with them, even if it's their first semester, but they know they want to transfer and they're considering one of these schools that we have representatives from on a monthly basis. We actually encourage for them to schedule an appointment and have that meeting right away.
Yeah, I was one of those students, honestly. I think I had a counseling meeting with CSUCI, Cal Lutheran, UC Santa Barbara in Northridge. And to be quite honest, it was very informative. A big thing for me was financial issues, and they gave me every single option for every single school of possible scholarships, discounts, FAFSA, everything. So they're amazing. Our representatives are really phenomenal because I made a decision. So we'll talk about that a little later.
Awesome. That is great. Our role really in the University Transfer Center is to provide students with all of the information so that then students can make an informed decision. And we foster that through the different services that we create and implement in the UTC. So, yeah, I'm happy to hear that you took advantage of those visits with the university reps. We also have Cal Lutheran that comes twice a month. We will be having UCLA. We have UCLA, UCSB. We even have Grand Canyon University, which is out of state, and many students sometimes feel a little intimidated to look into an out of state school or a private school because of the fact that they are known to be a little bit more expensive. But the reality is different.
Because of all the resources that we provide, it really changes the aspect of the financial problem. And specifically with Oxnard College, I say this every episode, I don't care. But we do. We really just provide so many resources that blow my mind that people don't take advantage of, like you were saying, because through this whole process, I was terrified. I had no idea what I'm doing, and I'm almost 30, so it was like, oh my God, like I'm put back into that teenage mindset of just lost and confused. But once I accessed and went into every department, everyone got sick of me, I don't care. But it just opened up so many doors. So I want to clock in on something you said about finances because that's everyone's concern. Let's be honest. It's not ideal in certain circumstances. But when you talk to everyone here at the University Transfer Center, you'll realize your options really broaden out when you take the right steps. So for my question to you is, what are those steps in order to figure out a little bit of an easier financial problem? So FAFSA, maybe I'll lead you with that.
FAFSA is definitely our number one go-to for students. But in addition to that, there's a lot of other financial resources out there that our students normally are not aware of. And it is our job to make sure that, again, we inform them of, these resources. An example of that is the UC. The UC system offers what they call the blue and gold plan. That plan is a design for students whose family income is 80,000 or below a year. If your family's income is 80,000 or below, then you automatically qualify. This is a guarantee qualifying for your tuition and fees to be paid for 2 years. So that's a big chunk of the cost of an education at a UC. In addition to that, there's scholarships through the universities, scholarships through our Oxnard College Foundation. We have a lot of scholarships that, again, many students don't always tap into those resources. And going back to what you mentioned earlier, the deciding factor for students in terms of where they're going to transfer, it always comes down to the money, the financial aid package. They get into all of the schools that they apply to, but then it's looking and reviewing at each of the financial aid packages. And I've had students who applied to Berkeley, to UCLA, to Cal Lutheran, and once they received the financial aid package, and their number one school was UCLA, but guess what? Then they ended up going to UC Berkeley because UC Berkeley gave them a better financial aid package than UCLA. So sometimes, or not sometimes, all of the times I've seen it, that it does come down to show me the money. Who's going to pay for, how is my education going to get paid for? In addition to that, we always encourage students to, many of our students do work either part-time or full-time. So we encourage that if they're able to budget and save, definitely do that. Definitely make sure that they're always aware of how much financial aid they've already used, how much Pell Grant they've used, because as you know, that is only available for students for a total of 6 years. So we want to make sure that students take advantage of most of that financial aid as a transfer student, and not when they're here at Oxnard College.
I want to talk about that because I had no idea. I thought the Pell Grant only covered community college. And so when I realized with all of my sending out letters, you get an extra 7,600 per not semester, per year. And that comes in handy. That really knocked down my rates of everywhere I applied to. So please keep that in mind. 6 years, guys. I thought it wasn't going to be applied. I almost didn't do my FAFSA again. I got a total, almost 15 grand just applying for FAFSA and getting the Pell Grants alone. So please, 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 please keep that into consideration when you're applying. So when, let's say, unfortunately, we don't have this, we got enough scholarships, we got enough money, but unfortunately, there's like a little bit left, or maybe a lot. Who knows? Whatever, everyone's circumstance is different. How do loans come into play with this?
So definitely loans are another option. They are available, and it is through your FAFSA. Students still have to complete the FAFSA in order to get any kind of loan. There's the subsidized and unsubsidized loans. And so, again, the goal is to graduate with zero student debt. But the reality is that students will come out with some kind of student debt. And so if you need to get a loan, then definitely I would say, going for the subsidized loan. Why the subsidized loan is because the subsidized loan, you are not incurring interest and you're not having to make a monthly payment during the duration of your education. And even once you graduate, it still gives you 6 months from when you graduate in terms of when you need to make your first payment. So that's the loan that I would definitely recommend, for students. If they need to obtain loans, then go for the subsidized, not the unsubsidized.
Now, when you do apply, now I don't know if this is the same for everyone. This is my specific, what's happening with me. So I just want to keep everyone informed. I was personally told by my school through FAFSA, I would get a subsidized and a unsubsidized loan. That is what I can get approved of. Nothing higher. I cannot get a loan per semester higher than $3,000 for or subsidized. So I just want to show that you guys' perspective. Yes, you want subsidized, of course, but it also just depends on what your school is willing to give as loans. I can personally petition at my school. Once again, I'm just trying to stay informed about everything financially, which I will do. But now, not all loans through FAFSA can cover the entirety of your school, once again. So I just wanted to also bring up private loans, other sources. Now, I would say FAFSA, maybe this is just me, but FAFSA loans are the best option, but not everyone has access to the best option. So what are other options as well?
So other options would be what you just mentioned, private loans. You want to definitely do your research when you are having to go outside of the loans within the FAFSA. You want to definitely make sure that you're looking into the interest rate. That's key right there, because at the time that you're a student, you may not really think about that. But once you are done, you then will realize, like, my goodness, because of the high interest rate, this is how much I owe now. And again, although sometimes we may need to look outside of the loans within the FAFSA and go with private, even maybe, I mean, sometimes you may even want to look into, family. If family's able to, loan you, let you borrow some money. I know for me, I was fortunate that I didn't have to get loans until actually I started grad school. My undergrad was fully covered, but once I started grad school, I definitely had to look into obtaining a loan. Not exactly what I wanted to do, but the way I looked at it is it's definitely an investment. It was an investment on myself and my family, my future. So if this helps, you want to, don't let the financial aspect of your education stop you from obtaining your education, from obtaining that higher level degree, because your education, your degree is only going to open doors for you. And you're gonna be able to pay that loan back probably faster than you expect. So don't let the financial aspect definitely stop you from pursuing higher education.
And I would like to say as well, a big reason why people struggle with loans currently is because they weren't informed going into loans. They took on private loans. Private loans, like we said, can accrue horrendous amounts of interest. And that was just something they just didn't know. And that's okay to not know. But that's why we have the University Transfer Center to make sure you make informed decisions and are able to pay off your loans in the end. I'll be honest. I have a good feeling I will be able to pay off my loans because of all of the scholarships, all of the financial aid through FAFSA I applied through. I listened. I listened to my girl. And guess what? I knocked off almost, what was it? Like $70,000.
That's amazing.
So I want you guys to know it's possible. Just make sure you're going through the steps, and we have people here who will literally walk you through them. I didn't do anything by myself. Anytime I had a question, I went straight to the University Transfer Center, financial aid, and they were able to answer every single question and help me. So please, 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 please start using your resources here on campus. We have them for a reason.
Definitely. I'm glad that you also mentioned that anytime you had a question, you would go to the University Transfer Center and financial aid, because as a transfer counselor, we are not the experts in financial aid. We will definitely help students review their financial aid package, but at the end of the day, we refer the students to our amazing financial aid department here on campus, and they are more than willing to review that packet. They are the experts in that financial aid area and financial aid, packet. So they will review everything with the student and compare packages from different schools, and then that's how students end up making, the right decision, the best decision for the student.
Now, I've been rambling about financial aid because it is such an important aspect to this. But I do want to ask what other services that the UTC provides here on campus.
So we offer a lot of services. Again, my goal was to always really look at what is being offered and what is not, and what can we create and implement that's going to help our students with their transfer process. So going back to what I mentioned earlier, we do offer the Transfer 101 workshop, and all of our workshops are offered in person and virtual. And this in particular, the Transfer 101 workshop, in addition to being offered in person and virtual, we just launched last year in September a fully online version of the Transfer 101. So this allows for students that are not able to attend the in-person or virtual. It allows them to do it at their own time,
Pace.
at their own pace. And so it's a great, that's our most popular and the one that we do require for all students to go through and get the information or listen, the information, so that then when they meet with us, they at least have the basics of the transfer process. So Transfer 101, we offer admission application workshops for both the UC, the CSU, and then the common application for the schools that require the common application. Those are mostly like your private, out of state. We offer field trips completely free to our students. That's a great way for our students to really tap into and learn more about the different campuses. And if they offer their major, what resources do they offer as a transfer student? Do they get that sense of belonging? Really exploring the campus. We offer access to the university reps from every semester. We have anywhere from 8 to 10 different campuses, different reps from different campuses, from the UC to the CSU, private and out of state. We also offer a service that we titled it Transfer Express. So this is completely virtual. It is Monday through Wednesday, and then students do not have to make an appointment for that. They can just Zoom in to our virtual room and ask quick questions. We have drop-in counseling, and our appointments are an hour appointments. We offer, we're getting ready for our annual transfer celebration, and this is to celebrate all of our students like yourself that are transferring this fall 2025 to a four-year school. This event is going to, it's happening on Friday, May the 2nd. So we're excited to celebrate all of our transfer fall 25 students. And then upcoming that I also want to mention here is our annual University College Fair. This usually happens and it's scheduled at the beginning of fall semester. It's we usually have about 40 to 50 different schools here on campus ready to answer students' questions, ready to share information about their schools. And then another great service that we just implemented about 3 years ago, and it's now a staple actually service of the UTC because it's been very successful and we've had nothing but positive feedback from our students, is what we called the Transfer Application Boot Camp. What that is really a design for students that are ready to apply for the next academic year, spring 26 and fall 26. So we walk them through the whole process of applying, what that looks like, and really, getting them ready early on with those applications. That is scheduled to happen at the beginning of August, the first week of August, August 5th through the 7th. It is a 3-day commitment, but it's a great service that we've been offering for the last 3 years.
That's amazing. When applying for colleges, like you said, CSUs, UCs, is there a bit of a formula for CSUs and UCs, like the application process? Is it quite similar in between schools?
So, no, it's two very different applications. The one thing that is nice about the application is that it is one application for the system. So it's one application for the 23 California states, and then one application for the 9 UCs. There is a fee for both. For the CSU, it's a $70 per application fee, and then for the UCs is $80 per application. There is a fee waiver that's embedded in the application, and depending on how the student answers the financial question and the number of household in the family, then that determines whether they qualify for the fee waiver or not. And if they do qualify, it actually allows for the student to apply to 4 schools for free on each of the systems. So this is why we offer separate application dates and times for the UC and for the CSU, because it is 2 totally different applications.
So does the 4 free applications apply for CSUs and UCs as well?
If the student is applying to both systems, again, depending on how they answer those questions, the financial question, and then the number of family in the household, then that's what determines whether they qualify for the fee waiver or not. So if I if I complete my Cal State application and I qualify for the 4 fee waivers, I think if I'm not mistaken, you're asking, can I use that fee waiver for the UC application? So the answer would be no, because it's a separate application. They would have to complete the UC application, and then it'll tell them if they qualify for the waiver or not.
But for the UC as well, if you did get the application and went through and you got it, it's 4 as well for
Absolutely.
UC.
Yes.
Okay, so see, you can get up to technically 8 applications for free depending on how you fill it out. And we'll have people who can help you fill it out.
Yes. And again, one of the things that we really aim for is for the financial aspect of the application not to be a barrier for the student to not apply, right? Especially you're ready to transfer, let's get you out of here. Like, we love you. We care for you, but we want you to go and do bigger and better things. So one of the things that I, created was a partnership with the Oxnard College Foundation.
Wow.
And so I went in there and requested funding specifically for students that may not qualify for the fee waiver, and it is a burden. $70 per application, $80 per application. It's almost like, do I pay $70 for the application, or do I put food on the table?
Exactly.
So in
and
order
you're not
for
guaranteed a yes.
Exactly. So in order for us to help students, to support students with the financial aspect of it, the foundation granted us funding to support those students. So that's a great resource, another resource that we do offer through the University Transfer Center for our students.
Wow. Is that another application as well to receive that funding that you got, or is that?
No. So we did create a process because, as you know, we do have a lot of students that will fall, in between. And so we wanted to, make it an equitable, or as close to equitable process as possible. So there is a process, and the process is that the student does have to attend a application workshop. Like, we need to make sure that the student attended an application workshop. The other requirement is that we require for the student to schedule an appointment with one of us in the UTC to do a final review of their application, because that's really the way that we will know if the student needs that financial support, if they qualify for the fee waiver or not. And if they don't, then that's when, they attended a workshop, they came in for a final review, here you go. And we'll cover up to 2 application fees.
Wow, that's amazing. I love Oxnard College.
We are the college with the heart.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Now, I wanted to speak on essays, because that is also another fearful that I hear through the grapevine of the application process. So I wanted to know just a few tips and tricks, because everyone always asks, what do I write about? Clearly, but that's a very vague question. You can write darn near about anything. So what are the things that you kind of tell them? Let's focus on this specifically.
So the UC application actually requires the short essay questions. The Cal State application, there's no questions to it. There's no essay questions. It's the UC application. So that is a big, I would say, fear of students is where do I start and what do I write about? There are 8 questions as part of the UC application. One that is a required question for all transfer students, and then out of the 7 left, students are required to select 3 of the other 7. And so what we advise students to do is to look at the other 7 questions and think of which of those questions are more relevant to your experience. Because at the end of the day, what you talk about is you need to talk about you. You need to, they want you to tell your story in the question. As you answer the question, you're telling the story. You're talking about you. This is the time to brag about who you are, not as a student, because they already know who you are as a student with your academic records, because you have to include all of that in the application. But now it's, okay, aside from being a student, who are you? What are you bringing to the institution? Why should we admit you over this student? What makes you unique? Tell us your story. And this is where students would need, again, it depends on the question, because there's a leadership question there's a creativity question, there's obviously the transfer question. So there's several questions that are there, and it's really picking the questions that speak more about who you are and your experience and your background, where you're able to actually tell the story.
And I think that's so important because, especially I notice with the younger generation who are fresh out of high school, they feel like they haven't done anything. They feel that kind of lack of confidence in the accomplishments they do have, because they'll talk to me and I'm like, well, you did all these things. You've got to talk about them. And they're like, I was very much like this at that age. And I was like, because I surrounded myself with people who are doing the same thing. So I felt like I was just one in an ocean, and it's kind of hard to kind of pull yourself away and brag and show your accomplishments. So is there any way that you kind of try to encourage that confidence in the students?
We offer workshops to help support students on the writing part of it. We also bring in our UC University reps that we have partnered with, so that they can offer a workshop on how to answer the questions too. Basically, what the UCs are looking for, what the readers are looking for, they're looking for concise, to the point, but provide examples, elaborate. If you're a first generation college student, great,
beautiful,
yes, beautiful,
Take
great. But now, tell us more about that. Tell us more about your background. Where are you coming from? What challenges or barriers were you able to overcome as a first generation college student? How did you overcome those barriers? That's what they're looking for. The how. You gave us the challenges, but now how did you overcome those challenges? So really elaborating on those examples that you're providing.
There's a specific example that I noticed through our not faculty, our population of students is being bilingual. Now, being bilingual as a child growing up with parents who were monolingual, there you go. You have been an interpreter your entire life. You have signed documents. You have not signed, but you've helped them sign documents. You have talked to AT&T figuring out why your Wi-Fi isn't working anymore. those are all skills and all personal stories that the colleges care about. That's who made you. And if you get in the nuance, like if you did call AT&T asking about wife, that is a perfect story example of where you executed kind of that barrier of being the only bilingual person in your family at the time. It doesn't necessarily need to be jobs. It doesn't need to necessarily be scholarships. It can be your personal life of what you went through, and that's just as important as any accolade. That is an accolade.
Absolutely. A lot of times, students will say, but I don't have any experience. I have not worked. Okay, so let me ask you, tell me a little bit more about who you are, your background. Well, I'm the oldest in the family. I took care of my little brothers. Okay, so all of those are skills that you gained during that time. So again, it's really just sharing, your story. We ask that students do a draft, start, jotting down talking points for each of the essay questions, and then we do encourage students to bring those questions, the answers to us, or send them to us via email, and we're more than happy to review and give them feedback on the writing. The UC reps will even have them, provide that service to them. Like, send me your essay answers, and I will be more than happy to review and give you some recommendations. So the UC again is the system that does have that embedded in the application. They do provide a more comprehensive, holistic application admission review. So they look at the PIQ, questions. They look at definitely your GPA. They look at student context. Again, are you a first-generation college student? Do you come from low socioeconomic background? They look at extracurricular activities. Who are you outside of the classroom? Are you involved in clubs on campus? Do you do any community service? Anything like that will help with your application because they look at all of that holistically.
And darling, because I work this job, you best believe I spoke about how this podcast helping the community, and I went into a lot of detail about it because it is important. And to someone, this might just be a job, and you don't think you're really doing. No, any job you're doing, anything you can find, any reason to write about it, because there are tasks, there are responsibilities that are important to you in order to keep a job. And so use that in a way to write your essay if that's what you can think of, anything. It's so right, especially writing. I have such a passion towards, because you can darn near turn any experience into a beautiful story or an ugly story. And you have that opportunity. And when you have people who support you, you will be able to make an amazing essay, little essay questions. So,
Absolutely.
now I'm going to just get a little tad personal here, but not too crazy. We call this podcast We Are the Change. I know why you personally are the change for this school, but I want you to talk a little bit of yourself and your
Oh my God.
and why you are the change.
That is the one exact thing that we encourage students to do, and
you got to do it too. You got to be the example.
Yes. I don't really like talking about myself, but since you ask, I am a proud product of Oxnard College. I'm a transfer student. I'm the first in my family to go to college to obtain an AA degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and now a doctorate degree. Single parent when I first came here.
Oh my gosh.
really tapped into all of the services that were available and shared with me. I was an EOPS student. I was a CalWorks student on welfare. Um, my daughter was 2 years old when I decided I need to do something. And so I came here. In fact, my counselor happens to still be here. And
Full circle.
yes, full circle. And I always am so proud to name him Jose Vega. He was my counselor when I first came here. Now it's amazing to say that we have a personal friendship. We're colleagues, but we're also friends outside of the college. He really helped me. He supported me through my journey here at Oxnard College, helped me through my transfer process. And so I just really, I was also embarrassed to tap into the resources, but I am glad that I did because of the resources and all of the support that Oxnard College offered me. I was able to, continue on
She's a doctor.
and
Thank you.
be, and now be here. I love being here at Oxnard College as now an employee, giving back to my community. I'm from Oxnard. And I'm happy to also say that my daughter, who was 2 years old when I decided to start at Oxnard College, she is now a counselor, a high school counselor. So she kind of followed my
Oh my
footsteps
gosh.
in education. She has her master's in counseling with a PPS credential from Cal Lutheran University, and so she's now a
Amazing.
high school counselor. I, proudly to say I'm a glamma, not a grandma, but yes, of
You got that from Abbott Elementary.
a grandbaby that will be a year next month. And
Oh,
so, yeah, like I said, she was 2 years old when I started here, and I also have a son who is in college. He's a student athlete. He plays football. He's in Portland State. So I'm, just very happy to be a part of this community. Happy to be a part of Oxnard College. I really enjoy working with our community, serving our students. I'm always looking for different ways to support our students, to guide them through this, very complex transfer process. And so, yeah, my door is always open. Anytime students come in, I really want to make sure that students leave my office with a very clear understanding of what needs to be done, mapped out in their educational plan, try to answer their questions as best as I can. I don't know all the answers, but I am very resourceful. And so if I don't know an answer, I don't like to tell student or give student, the wrong information. I always like to say, I feel like I know the answer, but I need to double check. Let me confirm and let me get back to you. And so I love what I do. I love what I do. I love the fact that not only am I working with students one on one and supporting them through that process, but I'm also overseeing and coordinating the university transfer center. So all of the events and the workshops, the partnerships with the university reps, all of that is coordinated by
yours
myself.
truly.
Yes.
Are there any events coming up that you really want to touch base on?
I think just, as I mentioned earlier, our university college fair is scheduled for Tuesday, August the 26th from 10 to 1 o'clock in front of the Student Services Building. This is a great opportunity for students to interact and connect with over 40 schools from the different systems. The transfer process as a community college student here at Oxnard College, they are endless. And it's really an opportunity for you to get that information, be informed, and then make an informed decision. The other upcoming exciting event that, again, it is a staple for as a service for our students is our 3-day transfer application boot camp that we are hosting August 5th through the 7th. And that is times we don't have, those are to be determined, but the dates are the 5th through the 7th. And this is actually designed for students that are ready to apply and transfer spring 26 and or fall 26. But for any other questions, further questions, more clarification, please visit us at the University Transfer Center. We are happy to help you, to serve you, to answer your questions. We're right now getting ready and excited for our upcoming transfer celebration because we get to celebrate all of our transfer students that are transferring fall 2025. This is an exciting time for our students because they are receiving admission notifications from the different campuses that they applied. So we're excited, and we always look forward to hearing where they're going, who admitted them, and now they get to choose where they want to go.
Mm-hmm. And it's so exciting because once again, when you have all these options, it's scary when you're applying, but then when you apply and you get the options of where you get to go, bam.
Yes.
Now it doesn't feel so, maybe it's a little daunting, but now it's, wow, amazing. And now you have so many. That was such a great feeling to have after applying and stressing myself out of being like, well, now I have all this.
Now it's on your end
I
to
know, now
decide and tell
Goodbye,
them,
Oxnard.
thank you, but no thank you. Thank you, but no thank you.
Right.
And thank you. I'm going to go there.
You get my college degree. You get...
Exactly.
And I just want to show you guys, too, the correlation of the different guests that I have brought on who do work at Oxnard College. They all, a majority, if not all of them, came from Oxnard College, has a beautiful story about how Oxnard College helped them. And now here they are back again, helping students all over again. This what sets, in my opinion is fact, no it's not, Oxnard College apart. We have past students who have become workers here who are willing to continue the helpful process. And not a lot of colleges, if at all, provide that. That is just such a unique experience that Oxnard College gives to its students, and it really warms my heart. Like, I have told myself back sometimes because I get emotional because I'm an emotional human being. Because coming from LA, where everything was so isolating, so alone, you want to do anything, it's very like, no, but this, no, but this, yes, but pay me $500,000. It feels so heartbreaking. And then to come back to my own community, I grew up here, and to be accepted and to be welcomed and just to be helped through the entire process. You guys, please tap into the resources, please. It will change your life. It changed mine. And that's why I started this podcast, was to help and hopefully just, I'm not doing anything. I'm just creating a pathway to the resources that here are provided in your community. And it's just so important to connect with your community, yes, but to really listen and to understand. And that's what Oxnard College does, is that you're not just a number, you're someone that they care about and want to see succeed. They're having a freaking party for everyone who's got into the university they wanted to transfer to.
Yes.
Who does that?
Oh, we love it. We love it, and we're so excited to celebrate our students. We're excited for graduation as well, because we get to send our students off to bigger and better things. But yeah, definitely tap into all of the resources. And I really have to say, I'm so impressed with this podcast. I have to really say thank you, your leadership, the fact that you wanted to do this. it really is providing students with all of the resources offered at Oxnard College. And we're passionate. I think
Yes.
everyone that works here at Oxnard College really is passionate about serving our community and seeing our students through and achieving their goal, whatever their goal is. We are here to help you. We're here to serve you. And we're just excited to be here. I know I'm excited to be here. I thank God every day for waking me up and, bringing me here to work. Because to me, I don't really look at my position here as work, because I'm so passionate and I love what I do, that I just look forward to meeting students, serving our students, and see how can we better, serve the needs of our students.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Because like I said, coming from LA, I'm not going to name drop just in case. I went to a different community college, and anytime I asked for help, it was very much, well, you don't have the right forms. Where do I get the right forms? Figure it out. What?
Yes.
And then you feel once again, that isolation of like not being connected, of figuring things out on your own. It is a horrible feeling. Oh my God, I hate doing things completely alone. If I have questions, I can do things alone. If I have a question, oh gosh, here we go. Here comes the spiral. Such beautiful stories, such full circle moments here at Oxnard College. And I just want to thank Miss Dr. Letty Mojica.
Yes.
Said it right, thank God. We are here with We Are the Change, Valita Stoke. And I love Oxnard College, and I love our counselors. I love everyone who works here. You guys make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, thank you for the opportunity.